Welcome back to another installment of eCIO. This video is on using eCIO to record and collect information on applications. We will show you the information collected on each of these, how to navigate, and how to search for an application. We'll also show you some of the relationships between the information collected for each application. The value proposition for having a database of information on each application is that it's searchable and decisions can be found on past applications. These then also can form part of an educational plan and developing your knowledge base. We'll start at the search function at the first menu within eCIO. So if we go up, we have only pulling up only those submenus that are applicable to what we're looking at today, which is the application suite within it. So these are some of the information, configuration items, assets, etc. But we'll do a search and we'll enter in eCIO because we want to find out if we have anything on that. We could have easily searched for anything within the narratives, etc. on that side of it. There's usually, within the search, there's usually a little mini submenu, and if we click on that one, that shows you some of the, brings up a little mini menu and it ties into your application. But we will go directly into our application profile. If we hit F5, it'll bring up another search if we wanted to kind of go through it, or if we wanted to go down to a search down here within our list of applications, we could do that as well. So we'll click on our eCIO and it'll bring up our profile. So I'll just close our so this is the information that we have on each of our applications that we're collecting. I will go into some of the menus here, and most of this is fairly standard with any of our profiles. So we have our tree view, and I'll show you a little bit on that one a little later. We have our input, our export, searching if we want to do that, if we want to go directly, if we knew the application number, as in this case, it's eCIO number 3, if we could do that. Typically, if we had needed a quick adds, there's quick adds through it. New, if we wanted to add in a new one. If we wanted to duplicate our record, this one here, and use it for much of the same information, helps on keying in information on that side of it. Some of the other information, we'll go through the tabs here. Miscellaneous. This is helps out in your portfolios where it ties into. We can talk a little bit about that in subsequent videos. But strategic intention scores, which helps prioritize any work which you need to do. This also ties into some of our disaster recovery, our business continuity plans. Some of the information we're collecting there, and there's some reports that are generated off of that. Purchase prices, etc. This is just a sample through that, purchase prices, and then any of the narratives, etc. that might be we want to tie into this particular application. Like most of our profiles, you can go directly into and drill down into some of the information here. If we wanted to go and look at, in this case, if we wanted to look at our vendor, we'd bring up our vendor profile screen within it. Oh, there we go. Our vendor, here's our vendor profile, and some of the information that we collect on our organizations, etc. on that side of it. The other one is we wanted to look at our resources, who each of the individuals here. Here's a narrative on some of the resources that we can kind of go through them. So we'll close those off within it. Now, tree view. I'll go into the tree view. Excuse me. Back. Tree view. So this is if there were applications that were kind of sub-applications to any of our main applications, then this can show you those applications. We'll just kind of go into, this is an example of some of the drill downs. that you can kind of look at it if they're related, etc. on that side of it. So this relationship, it starts to identify your relationships between each of our applications. There's other ways and functions that we can do this, but this kind of ties into that. And then if we go into our mini menu here, so these are some of the things that are collected, the relationships that we collected: action items, allocations, change notices, comment, configuration items. We'll go into our functions that in this case eCIO supports. And so these are functions that an organization may do, and what ECI tends to support in some fashion. If we wanted to look at change management, for example, if we double click on it, it'll bring up our change management function. So this is information that we collect on that. And just to illustrate that, in fact, we have full traceability. If we go and look at some of the applications, that is, we see eCIO. We also see a couple of other applications here that also handle change management. So this helps us in any type of audibility, etc. We can ensure that practices are the same, like within that one. So, and change management we'll have a separate video on that one, on that side of it. Then we have our reports. There's a series of reports that we have. Toolkit service, these are work packages, but we'll just go into our toolkit profile. This is a continuation of our earlier presentation, but just where we kind of had some problems with the reports. So we've entered in our profile information, and we're just going to bring up some of the reports. Here's the number of the reports that we have in through it, data dictionaries, services, etc. We'll just go into our application toolkit profile, generic, and this brings up our report dialog. So it says for our application, we're going to key in the application. These are a series of applications, the executive workbench. There's no other parameters on it, so we'll do OK, and it'll bring up our application profile. So this is an example. It follows a little bit of, for those that are a little bit more familiar, a little bit more along a Gartner type of tombstone demographic information within it. The vendors, users that we have within it, who's out there, what group do they belong to. If there's a risk profile, in this case we talk about impact of resources, any upcoming meetings that we need to worry about. In this case it was a certification user base. Application, some application quality issues, so this is kind of illustration of what some of the things that you can kind of track on it. If it ties into some of your strategies, those are outlined, and again, because of the traceability, we can go back and forth. We can look at what our strategies are and then tie those back to the applications. The strategic intentions, what we're trying to do, so that's all in, and there's a separate video just on how to develop strategies and what you need to do and what tracking. And then the functions that, in this case, eCIO supports. Governance, protection, portfolio management, change management systems, like within that one. So we'll get rid of that. And as we mentioned, there's other reports tying into the service catalog, skill sets, assets, configuration items that may be linked into this as well. So that ends our video on applications and toolkits and using eCIO to record that information. I want to thank you for watching this. There are other related videos. We did make a reference to those throughout this particular presentation, but that you can find them on our website, as well as some other additional information on that one. If you have questions or suggestions, they can be emailed to us at support@eciosolutions.com. And I want to thank you again.